What's happening? Of course, you know it's your boy B-Hot Radio Shouting. Stepping in the building, I got an A-Town legend off in this thing. A man that's put it down for the town. Brandon the Jagged Edge. What's good with it, boss?
Hey, what's up, B-Hot?
Man, feeling good, feeling great. First off, I got to say, appreciate you stopping through this thing,
Thank
boss.
you for having me, bro. Like I told you, I be watching you all the time.
My
so
God.
I'm glad it's my turn to sit in this seat. You know what I'm saying?
It rains hell in this thing. B, take me to day one, man. What was it that got you attracted to R&B, and when was it that you realized that you had the gift?
Wow, I think even before I was attracted to R&B, I was attracted to singing.
Yeah.
And I can remember, man, if I really go back, I can remember riding in my mother's car one day. I couldn't be no more than 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm singing a song from the movie Annie. I don't remember which one of them. I just remember I was singing one of them songs. My mother stopped the car, was like, boy, you got a nice voice.
Yeah.
And from that time, like ever since she told me that, I'm like, damn, I got a nice voice. You know what I'm saying? Because my mother, I mean, she probably made her name in jazz, but she's, you know, in terms of Atlanta, been a gospel singer around the city for a long time. So, you know, to have her give me that compliment, it meant something.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It meant something. Yeah.
I mean, but you had a whole twin in the car with you too. He wasn't singing.
He
It
wasn't
was
singing
just
at
you.
this point in time. Like,
Okay.
I remember this story. This was my story. You know what I'm saying? Because we got a lot of stories we share. You know what I'm saying? But this was my story. Like, I remember her saying that to me.
Yeah.
And I don't remember her. I don't even think he was singing that. 'Cause
Yeah.
she ain't say nothing to him that day.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's where it started for me. Like, just hearing her give me that compliment.
Yeah.
And then when I was about, I want to say probably 11 years old, my mother got saved.
Yeah.
And once she got saved, she flipped the script on us. Like, we couldn't even listen to R&B music.
Damn.
So for like 3, almost 4 years, we couldn't, like, in terms of her being able to hear what was coming out of our room, we couldn't listen to nothing but gospel. Damn. But when she went home, you know, we listened to NW, we listened to all kind of shit. You know what I'm
Real
saying?
shit. Yeah.
So to me, I think it kind of transformed from that, you know, the stuff that you see in movies and musicals and singing along with shit I used to see on Grease or things like that, to gospel music, like just like that. And some of the gospel music that I got into was just like, you know, they legendary gospel people, the Winans, the Commission, Daryl Coley, John P. Key. So that kind of like gave us the pipes right there. The gospel, singing in church, singing hard, singing in your choir week after week, you know, every Sunday, every Saturday in choir rehearsal. And that kind of gave us the pipes. And then me and my brother are originally from Hartford, Connecticut.
Okay.
So we moved here about 11, 12 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And what I found here was that the music industry was here.
Yeah.
Like one day, I want to say 16 years old maybe. I was standing on the corner down in the AU, went to go see one of my homeboys, and I stand on the corner there, and Chili rides by in like a blue Honda Civic, like nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? And that shit just hit home like damn, that's her. She right there.
Yeah.
She regular as hell.
Yeah.
Y'all could do this shit. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, that's kind of when it took form for me.
When was it that y'all formed Jagged Edge and that you realized that the group was about to take off?
We formed Jagged Edge. I think we was about sophomore going into our junior year in high school. Me and my brother at that time, I think we was about to go from Clarkston High School to Reading High School.
Okay.
My mother became a member of a church in Atlanta, well, on the east side, Decatur, called New Birth. Is, you know, everybody knew New Birth now. But at the time, it was just a little small chapel on a little hill. You know what I mean? And so we became members to that church, and that's when we met Kyle. Kyle was actually the youth choir director, like the dude who stands up there with the
cranking it up.
Yes, right. So my mother actually met Kyle first. She told Kyle, she was like, "Look, if you get my sons in this choir, I'm gonna throw you a pool party."
Ooh.
We had a pool party, so clearly we was in the choir.
Exactly.
But it was different for me because in this choir, like, you know, it's a bunch of real, you know what I mean?
Really?
Like,
You got Wild Kyle directing the thing.
Yeah, Wild Kyle directing. So it was different because I felt like when I was going to church in Hartford, Connecticut, I didn't necessarily feel like that was the case. I felt like it was a whole church environment. Yeah. You know what I mean? And maybe
it was like holy.
People like me wasn't, you know what I mean? That's how I felt. You know what I mean? That's how, but when I got to Atlanta, I felt like the people of the church was the same people community. I am, you know, exactly. The real community, right? So it made it a lot easier to kind of dive in, you know, both feet, you know what I'm saying? So Kyle, he introduced us to a couple people, because at first, Jagged Edge was a church group, and we was trying to be another Take Six, you know, gospel, acapella, but young.
Exactly.
And we thought for a quick second that might be dope. Now, you know, now that I think about it, I'm like, man, that shit would have never worked. But at the time, that's what we was thinking about.
Yeah.
So he introduced us to a couple more guys who they fell off real early. Wasn't really as dedicated as we was.
Yeah.
And you know, at about 8 or 9 months into us rehearsing on an everyday basis, this lady named Mia Red held a talent search. She had not a casting agency, but I guess it worked kind of both ways. Like, she would develop talent for the music industry, as well as like sign up younger talent and put them in commercials and things like that. So she had a talent agency called Busy Brat's Talent Agency. She held a little audition one day. We came in there, and honestly, out of all the people in there, she only took us. Dang. She had a whole office full of people, and out of everybody she saw, she only took us, and we weren't even Jagged Edge at the time. We was Twin AK. Twin AK. So I tell you how crazy we was.
Yeah.
But so after that meeting, she pulled us in her little office, and she was like, you know, I want to work with y'all. She's like, I see a lot in y'all, and you know, she put us in on a rehearsal hall every day, like over at Grant Park. We would go there every day after school for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And she met a lady named Deidre Tate who used to work for Michael Bivins. Michael Bivins had a show in Atlanta. They came here as a part of one of those tours they was on. I think it was them, Keith Sweat, and somebody else. After the tour, he invited us to their hotel. We had like 4 songs we sang for him. In the middle of us singing our second song, he stopped us. Like, hold up. He left the room and he came back with Ronnie and Ricky.
Yeah.
He was like, I want them to hear this too. So we sang the last 2 songs, and like almost immediately he offered us a deal. Sent us paperwork maybe 3-4 months later. But at the time, Mike was doing a lot. He had a lot of groups, a lot of things. He, you know, and he sent us a letter maybe another 3 months later saying he had overcommitted himself, and if we wanted to stay and see how this worked out, we could, or if we wanted to seek a new record deal, we could. Of course, we chose to seek a new record deal.
Exactly.
But you know, even to this day, man, like Mike played such a big part in this because he gave us that confidence. Yeah. He was like, this nigga just put out ABC, Boys II Men, and he wanted us.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that gave us that, you know what I mean, we was up here after that. You know what I mean? So we really owe him a lot in terms of just giving us that belief in ourselves, helping us to find that belief in ourselves.
Yeah.
For sure.
Linking up with JD though, man. How did y'all find that guy?
Candy. Wingo and Candy went to school together at Tri-Cities.
Okay.
After Escape first album, Candy was already like thinking of how, you know, the entrepreneur she is. She already thinking of how she could branch out and, you know, make some more money.
Yeah.
So Wingo had gave her our demo, just trying to play it for her, like to see what she thought, you know, get some ears from somebody who in the industry, see what they think. He played it for her. She loved it. To the point she was like, well, I don't just want to hear it. I want to take it over and see what I can do with it.
Yeah.
So she took it to Jermaine. Jermaine told her, I remember he told her, he was like, this not out yet?
Damn.
He was like, this sound like something that's already out. You sure they ain't out nowhere?
Come on now.
That's a true story.
Yeah.
So he invited us to his house maybe 2-3 weeks later. We walked in the house and he was in there playing, I think NBA Live. It was NBA Live back. This how long ago it was. He in there playing NBA Live. I remember Kyle picked his remote up, cut his TV out, because at first he didn't even want to look up at us.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? So Kyle picked up his remote, cut his TV off, and then we just started singing.
Yeah.
And the whole time we singing, like, I'm thinking in my mind we killing shit. Yeah. But he giving us that, you know, that Stone CEO look, like he don't want to show you that you doing some shit, right?
Yeah.
So we walked out the house thinking we fucked it up. Candy got a call maybe 10 minutes later. We was about to go to the mall because she thought we was depressed. So she get a call like 10 minutes later, and it's Jermaine. He like, nah, tell him don't go nowhere. I want to sign him. And that's the Jermaine story.
So when y'all linked up with Jermaine and it was time to get busy as writers, what was that like, being able to pen those hits y'all self, man?
Man, you know, it was a quick point in time that we almost lost our deal.
What?
Because, you know, we had Zebo going there like, look, tell JD we got to write our own shit. And JD was like, man, I ain't never had no, he was like, even though I know they got a pen game, I ain't never had no artist come at me like that.
Yeah.
You know, and we almost lost our deal behind that. So Zebo, because Zebo and JD was so close at this point in time, Zebo could pull him over to the side and say, hey, they beside themselves right now. You know what I'm saying? And so we was able to get it back. So ironically, we ended up writing all that stuff because at first we didn't know. You know, we knew that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
But you gotta think, Jermaine did all the songs on Crisscross album, all the songs on Escape album, most of the songs on Brat album.
Yeah.
So we was the first people that was really coming in the door like, hey, bro, like, you know, we from the South, we got something to say type of shit. Like, we had something to say.
Yeah.
And so we didn't want to be another artist where our story was Jermaine's story. You know what I mean? We wanted to have our own story and our own music.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So we fought for that and we got it. We was able to get it.
What was it like for you when you penned that first hit and that thing charted on you though, man? When you realized that you could do this and you got the skills.
Right. Now that's a whole nother animal. Or I should say creates a whole nother animal. You know what I'm saying? But I think I realized, really our first #1 record in terms of a song we was a part of, co-writing or writing, was Nice and Slow by Usher.
Yeah.
So when that song blew up, I'm thinking to myself, God, like that song was huge.
Exactly.
So I'm thinking to myself, like, God damn, like our first shot at it, and this what we on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that'll make you very hopeful for the future, and we was. And I think that when our first song that we wrote for ourselves hit, which was Gotta Be.
Yeah, Gotta Be.
Man, it's like sometimes you try to explain that feeling, but it's hard to put that shit into words. You know what I mean? It's like a lifetime of dreaming and working towards something culminating into one moment. You hearing your song on the radio.
Exactly.
And so it's hard to me, it's always been hard to put that into words exactly. But it felt incredible. You know what I'm saying? It felt incredible.
Working with a young Usher at that time though, man, what was it like writing for him and getting his stuff together?
It's crazy because Usher's second album, which is the one JD, is when he first comes into Usher life. Yeah. Because Usher's first album was Puff.
Okay.
So during Usher's recording of Usher's second album, it's the same time that we're recording our first album. We going everywhere together, shopping together.
Yeah.
And so, like, getting to know him just a little bit. I wouldn't even say I got to know him fully back then, but just getting to know him just a little bit. I seen that #1, he's a real dude.
Yeah.
#2, he's as ambitious as anybody I knew at the time. You know what I mean? And I knew that takes you far.
Yeah.
Your ambition and your work ethic takes you far.
Exactly.
So I think to a certain extent, because he was out before us, we was still like soaking the game up. Whatever it was he was dropping, we was just, that's how that went, and that's kind of what the relationship was at first,